Each of us has our own unique background and story of how we became a part of Chiefs Kingdom.
Our reach is far and wide, with fans all over the world cheering on our Kansas City Chiefs.
Everyone donning the red and gold has figuratively signed that mutual agreement and come together for one common purpose.
For 76,000 of us at a time, to descend upon Arrowhead, man our stations, let out our loudest battle cry to the tune of 142.2 decibels, and make that stadium rock until our opponents beg for mercy.
We are unrelenting in our pride for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the Allies, Arrowhead Allies.
Welcome in to Arrowhead Allies, everybody.
Yes,
this is Nitro. There we go. This is Nitro Noah Groniger, as always being joined by Mr. Electricity himself, Clint Schweitzer, and our guys, our good friends. We're so thankful that they're going to be joining us all season long. Brian B. Shining from Hot 103 Jams right down there. And then we've got the Money Badger, Michael Matthew from TGN, The Good News out in sunny Los Angeles, California. And then Shaggy Shane, my good brother from Shaggy Shane Entertainment. You know him on YouTube. Guys, football is back. It is upon us. Another run to Super Bowl 57. I will see you in Phoenix. What say you, Brian?
Oh, man, I am so pumped. I'm even getting out there with my boys when I'm coaching my Seminoles. I'm out there trying to hit them and letting them tackle me. I'm ready to get out on the field, Shiggy Shane.
I tell you what, I'm ready as well, folks. It's a new time. The team's been in flux. But as Kevin DeBro sang 36 years ago, times are changing. Nothing stays the same. For the jukebox generation, we're talking Chiefs Kingdom. In red and yellow, quite a bit has changed since last season. What do you say to the Michael Matthew? What do you think, brother?
Man, you brought up some music. You know, Sam Cooke said that change shall come, and it has come. And his number 15, Patrick Mahomes. I'm so excited for him to go and get another MVP, go and get a Super Bowl title. The Chiefs are coming. All of this hate out there, I guarantee everybody's going to pay for it, man. I can't wait.
Hey, it's hate for a reason. When you've become the gold standard in the AFC, you want to see that team fall off the cliff. We've been there. We prayed for it for years with the New England Patriots. Now it's the Chiefs' time. We'll see where this goes because the roster has changed a little bit and the 53-man is intact. Shane, when you introduced Shane Williams, you forgot to mention he was the villain from season 4 of Sons of Anarchy. I'm going to have to go catch up on the show. And Shane, you just talked about Quiet Riot. I just saw that band with one original member just 2 months ago, my brother. You know me. I'm repping all summer long at the concerts, just back from the stadium tour in LA, but I'm in football mode now, guys. This is what it's all about, and this is why we come together as Arrowhead Allies. Noah, we took a long time to put this together. We wanted the right pieces, and they're all here, right here, and I couldn't be happier to be joining each and every one of you this season for Arrowhead Allies.
Yeah, and you talked about the 53-man roster. Me and Brian kind of went back and forth a little bit on the running back group. I said I'm not really impressed with it. He was. The Chiefs agreed with Brian. They kept 5 of them, including Michael Burton, the fullback. Brian, you must be excited. You're on cloud 9.
I am. I love it. I love the fact that Ronald Jones made the roster. I do. I feel like he can be an asset in this offense. Not necessarily pass catching. That's not his strength. But I feel like he's a change of pace back a little bit. But the one who I'm excited about is not who you think it is. You know I have my number 1 jersey in the back, right? It's not Jerick McKinnon. Isaiah Pacheco. He is the real deal. He really is. He has everything you need. Speed, power, burst, balance. Not necessarily a division right now, but he's a rookie. That'll come along. But I am excited about Pacheco and the entire running back room. I think it says a lot when, Clyde might be your worst one out of the group. I think that says that the running back room is a strength.
Wow.
It says we shouldn't have drafted him in the first round is what it says, Brian. We saw Ronald Jones made this roster. I'm glad of that. You need that change of pace, short yardage back. But I kind of agree with Noah, this running back group. Isaiah Pacheco, what do we average? Like 2.6 yards a carry in the preseason. Going to have to see more of it. Andy Reid doesn't build his offenses around this running game. What is it going to change? Are we going to see more ball control?
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it because I feel we have one of the top 2 or 3 offensive lines in football, and this O-line is built for running the ball. So I think that you're going to see a little more. And hey, I said it on Twitter. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that this will be a breakout year for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that guy is going to ball out. For him, a lot of times it's just about staying healthy, and then Andy Reid trusting him and continuing to run the ball. I think that him and McKinnon is a perfect duo. Then you have Pacheco to come in there and help. And, Ronald Jones is there for insurance policies just in case one of those two guys, the first two guys, get hurt. But I think Clyde will glide and surprise everyone this year in the NFL.
If Clyde Edwards-Helaire stays healthy, then I think we should see it. He had some surgery the previous 2 years coming into the previous 2 seasons. But if you look at the Jerick McKinnon situation, the Chiefs didn't see him or need him until the very last regular season game of the schedule when Darrell Williams went out. Darrell Williams went out, and the Chiefs were about to lose that Denver Bronco game, and Jerick McKinnon came in and made some plays. We know what Jerick McKinnon did in January, so that is fresh in our memory. How Jerick McKinnon balled out in 4 games. The last regular season game, in the 3 playoff games, he looked great, but it shows that Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and Nagy, they know they're going to need all 4 of those running backs, because last year it was Darrell Williams for the most part of it, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire was decent, but now you're going to throw in Pacheco. He's kind of like the problem that you didn't want but you got, and you're happy you got it. So because now you can kind of work with him and play with him and keep Clyde fresh. Hold off Jerick McKinnon because he's pushing 30 now if he's not 30 already. So I think it'll play out successfully in the Kansas City Chiefs. I won't say new style of offense, but I will say in this style of offense that's different from last year.
Shane, you got something against 30-year-olds? I'm 38 with a receding hairline, man. Yeah. Hey, question from the Facebook page already for Noah. Hey, guys, from the UK. Cool. Thanks for joining us, mate. All the way from the UK. It's got to be like in the middle of the night there. That's insane. Question and thoughts on Russell Wilson at the Broncos. We didn't quite plan on getting into the whole rest of the division this week, but we got a question about Russell Wilson. Noah, do you think he will do okay? Kind of a general question. I think he could be okay. Noah, what say you?
Yeah, the key word there is okay. Yes, I think he will be okay. It's a new quarterback coach combo there with Nathaniel Hackett, Russell Wilson. I think it's going to take time. They lost Tim Patrick for the season, which I think is one of their most impressive pass catchers that they have. Cortland Sutton is nice. A lot of people are saying Jerry Jeudy's going to come alive now. He played with Drew Lock. I'm not sure I believe that. He drops the ball a lot, so I don't know if that's just going to get better. The ball's in his hand. It's got to be near his hands to drop it. So Drew Lock was putting it in the right spot a few times there. So yeah, they're going to be better with Russell Wilson. I think he will do okay, as the question said, but are they going to set the world on fire? Are they going to make the playoffs? No.
Okay, another question. You agree, Michael? No playoffs?
No, I agree. Russell Wilson is always the best quarterback in the NFL for 4 weeks. Then the last, 12, 13 weeks, he's like, okay. So he's going to be an okay quarterback. I believe that Denver is going to be the worst team in the division because the division is so stacked. But, hey, let's see what happens.
Yeah, we absolutely will. Jim Daniels, great show, guys. I'm going to send this one to Brian, and we can kind of get into a discussion about this because this is a big piece here to this 53-man roster. Great show, guys. Why 3 QBs, though? Brian, take it on, my man.
Hey, Bouchel was slinging it, wasn't he? He looked pretty damn good, to be honest with you. The 3 quarterback situation is kind of sketchy to me because you keep a 3rd quarterback, but you cut Fountain. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Andy Reid knows more football than me. But why, if you're going to keep 3, my question that I want to pose to you all is, if you're going to keep 3, why keep Henne?
Right. Make a decision, right? I think make a decision on one of the 2. What do you guys think?
Chad has been there. Chad has been there, done that, helped the Chiefs, win the playoff game versus the Browns a couple years ago. And you just can't lose Shane. Like, you want to make sure that you keep him. He's going to be around one more year. And I think next year is when we see, Chad Henne out of there. But I think it's a smart move because if you place Bouchel on the practice squad, he's going to be taken away. People just like ourselves saw what he was doing this preseason. So I think it's a smart move. You hate that it takes a roster spot, but you gotta hold on to Shane because he may be that backup for the next few years for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I disagree with it. It should be Patrick Mahomes and Shane Buechele at the quarterback position. Patrick Mahomes needed Chad Henne for the first few years, but Patrick Mahomes is going into his 5th year as an NFL starter. He doesn't need a proven veteran to look at the chalkboard or look at the plays. Patrick Mahomes is not only the face of the Kansas City Chiefs, he's the face of the National Football League. And I think if you bring Shane Buechele up to back up this season, you can do more with Shane Buechele in the offseason. In 2004, Andy Reid, just before the draft in 2004, Andy Reid traded his backup quarterback, A.J. Feely, to the Miami Dolphins for a second-round draft pick. You know why? Because A.J. Feely showed promise, and the freaking NFL knew that A.J. Feely was going to be good. The Dolphins threw in a second-round draft pick. 7 years later, 2011, the exact same thing. Arizona Cardinals sent Andy Reid a second-round draft pick for Kevin Cobb. Good young quarterbacks backing up the starting quarterback in Andy Reid's system. You've always been able to get it in return.
Wow.
Yeah, and guys, just moving on here to the receiver position, the Chiefs and Chiefs Kingdom have had a romance over the past several seasons with Josh Gordon. That comes to an end. Everyone's hearts are broken. And so we have a little video package to properly say goodbye to the one we love, Josh Gordon.
Thought we'd always be together. I was sure our love would last. Here I am, all alone, wondering what went wrong. Did we ever have a chance? It's hard to see this world without you. A lonely place without romance. Here I am, all alone.
America's the land of second chances, especially in the world of sports. With that being said, I'm done with Josh Gordon.
Is everybody okay there? Anybody need some tissues?
No, let me, I have to cut in. I'm sorry, fellas. Look, number one, you had the Zack Attack song.
Yes.
Like from Saved by the Bell. Oh, I wanted you to play Rick James, Mary Jane, but that was a much better selection, number one. Number two, how about the wide receiver screen to smoke the Raiders? How about that? Love it. I miss Josh Gordon.
Hey, that was the greatest 1-yard touchdown catch in Chief history. Shout out to Josh Gordon for providing that. Much love to him in his future. Let's see what happens next. See what he does next.
Hey, Joe Valerio will fight you on those 1-yard touchdowns, Michael.
Hey, I think Joe's were at least 3. But this to me speaks to the depth of this wide receiver position. Justin Watson, the way he performed in training camp and in the preseason, there's some real comfort here. Didn't see Juju Smith-Schuster due to injury even get so much as a target during preseason, but MVS was out there. We saw a broken play where MVS was wide open for a touchdown. Mahomes just missed it. But guys, our good friend Lance Twidwell posed the question earlier, better receiving core, 2021 or 2022? Man, it's time to put everyone's feet to the fire. I'm just going for it. I'm going to say 2022. And this is not just recency bias because I've struggled with this Tyreek Hill thing all offseason, but I like this receiving core just a little bit better.
Depth. I think that's the key word, depth. Last year, we didn't have, like, if Tyreek went down, it was kind of like who's going to step up. Now we know, like, we can go anywhere we want to with the ball. Then of course you got the shall I say the greatest tight end in football history, Travis Kelce, along with the running backs. But I think the depth helps the Chiefs so much that if one of the guys do go down, like Juju dealing with the knee, that the receiver room would still be all right.
What about this question? Instead of this year versus last year, what about this year's with MVS and Sky? Or if we had kept Tyreek and it would have been Tyreek and maybe Doris Fountain makes the team. And here's a little image we got here, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we had kept Tyreek, then we've got Doris Fountain, or you can have MVS and Sky Moore this year. So that's kind of the question I posed to you. Group A or Group B?
I mean, it's a mixed bag because
B.
I mean, just to answer, I'll just answer the question. Of course, B. I think because you got Tyreek. He's the ultimate wide receiver weapon, speed, somewhat reliable hands. Although he wasn't always reliable last year, but with Tyreek on your team, of course you're going to excel. But the depth this year, the reality is the depth is so much better than having Byron Pringle as your number 3 receiver. I like Pringle, but he's not a 3. He's more of a 5 or a 4. And then in this offense, the number 3 receiver should be just as important as the number 2 or number 1. I don't even think there is a wide receiver 1 in this offense now. That I think the Chiefs have erased that. It's just whoever Pat wants to go to. And if it is a wide receiver 1, like Michael said earlier, it's Kelsey.
Yeah. So I'm ready.
I'm sorry. I'm ready to just turn the page on Tyreek Hill. He's the most threatening weapon in the National Football League. He opposes he keeps defensive coordinators up all night. But I'm just ready to move on. It's time. I will always appreciate what he's done. But I think the unexpected is along with having MVS, Juju, and McColl. McColl and Juju are playing on the last year of their contracts. So, they're both going to be balling. McColl's on his final year. Juju only signed a 1 year. So they're going to be wanting to prove themselves as well. So it's going to be a fun year. I'm ready to move ahead.
And then Shane, Noah, Brian, like another room that's going to help these wide receivers out is that tight end room. I think you have Noah over there. You have Jody along with Travis. That's why I think we only decided to keep 5 because it's like we're going to make sure that we have as many, 3 tight end sets. Once Blake Bell gets back, you might even see 4 tight ends on the field. So when you just look at the numbers of all the guys who can catch the football and do something with it, it just makes last year's team, looks like, man, like it's nothing close to it. So I'm very excited because Pat gets some big bodies that he can throw the ball to. That's going to help him, and some guys that are going to hold on to the ball. And I'm really excited about Sky Moore. I think that he can be a Steve Smith type of guy, and if he can show that early on, oh man, like. The league needs to watch out because people aren't studying enough the Chiefs and their wide receivers and just the offense in general. They may not be as explosive, but it's going to be a more efficient offense with the receivers that the team have.
I want to say this too. Does that signify Jody Fortson getting a monster load of red zone targets? The 5 receiver sets is not sets, but the 5 receiver thing. And you brought up a good point, Michael, with the size thing. Chris Sims says a lot that size is a skill, and it is. If you have Jody Fortson, who's 6'4", and you put his target up. You put his arms up, that target is maybe 7'4" or higher or whatever. So the big body target thing, that's going to be a real thing, gentlemen. I don't think people are talking about that enough. Juju is 6'3", something like that, 6'4".
6'3".
MVS is 6'3". Jody 6'5". Jody is 6 whatever. I mean, there's 6s all over the place. I think I'm listening to a Drake song or something. But look, seriously though, the target thing, that's going to be a real deal, especially going down in those red zone areas where the targets are a little tight.
They can go up in high point. These kids can go up in high point with their size.
Yes, sir.
Big time. I compare Juju. Here's what everybody wants to know: who do you compare the wide receivers to in this Andy Reid era? I compare Juju. You guys can disagree and let me know what you think. I compare Juju Smith-Schuster to Jeremy Maclin. I compare MVS to a healthy Sammy Watkins. I compare Sky Moore right now to Albert Wilson, and of course McCole Hardman to McCool. So those are the 4 you're kind of looking at, as because they got the same kind of bodies. The same kind of body. MVS is taller than Sammy Watkins by an inch, but that's who they remind me of on the field. What do you think?
Yeah, I like those comparisons. I just think that the Chiefs are going to be able to do so much. Like you see in the comments, Summer brought up MVS's speed. That's a guy that's going to be able to stretch the field. McCole is going to be able to stretch the field. But now you have these intermediate targets that we really didn't have consistently last year. You know, Sammy Watkins brought that to us, but he just couldn't stay healthy. So now if you got MVS, Nicole going deep, you got Sky and Juju underneath, man, I think the Chiefs can do a lot. Then Watson, he came out of nowhere looking like Mark Bogrifter for the Chiefs. And I'm excited. You know, I'm really excited about our wide receivers because they're going to shut up a lot of pundits out there who don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, I think we've proven that you can't sleep on this offense, no matter what kind of inventory they have out there, whatever they assemble, they're going to be firing on all cylinders. But transitioning to the defense, guys, we got a lot of young kids out there. The corners, Josh Williams, Jalen Watson, Trent McDuffie. I mean, those are three rookies that we're going to be counting on for snaps at corner. Brian Cook's going to be rotating in at safety and a lot of special teams for him. And then we got young guys, George Karlaftis, Leo Chanel at linebacker. I mean, what do we think here of this defense, especially with all these rookies we're going to try to integrate in?
Oh, I'm excited. I am so excited about this defense. They're young. They're going to be coming out firing on all cylinders. There was a lot of bad tape last year on the Chiefs defense. There was a lot of business decisions getting made. There was a lot of half-hearted plays being made. And, of course, we all saw the back of 49ers jersey, every single play getting roasted and toasted. But luckily, that's not going to happen this year. Not as much, at least. I'm excited about our safeties. Brian Cook, he's going to bring the wood. Justin Reed, I think, is a great fill-in for 32 and what he brought. Probably not the leader that Matthew was, but I think that Justin Reed can bring the same athleticism, if not maybe a little bit more back in that safety position. Sharks swim in water. Sharks are born in water. So what I'm trying to say is you got to throw these young guys out there. 2018, we threw out a young Charvarius Ward. We threw him out there against the Seahawks on a Sunday night against Russell Wilson. And he took his lumps and bumps, but he ultimately became a much better player, a serviceable player, probably, a little better than that. Not quite Pro Bowl level, but a guy who you could depend on most certainly. And McDuffie and these guys, Joshua Williams, I'm excited about them. I really am. The young linebacking corp that we got, that's probably my favorite position on that Chiefs defense. The speed of Willie Gay and Nick Bolton, Lord have mercy. Leo Chennault, he's going to bring the wood on those third and shorts instead of Anthony Hitchens and Ben Neiman getting knocked back 2 or 3 yards. So this young defense is going to come out swinging. I really think that.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the addition by subtraction there with Ben Neiman going, Anthony Hitchens and Dan Sorensen all gone. We're automatically better right there. And I have seen positive signs out of these rookies. And I like Jalen Watson, maybe the best out of that young corner other than Trent McDuffie, but the guys, the DiCaprio Boodles we saw out there, the Lamons, Josh Williams. I thought Jalen Watson stood out to me.
Yeah, I think that the thing that you said, Brian, which is going to be key is speed. I think last year we didn't have as much speed as we did the Super Bowl championship team. And I think all of that speed is going to help the team out. And what's going to help the young secondary is that I think our pass rush is going to be much better than it was last year. Like Karlaftis is looking, if you wink your eyes and you watch, you see a little Bosa, in his game, but without the long arms, Noah. But then, you have Frank Clark, who's rejuvenated, trying to have a career year. Chris Jones, you have Dunlap, who, we're hoping that he's okay with the Achilles. He's back at practice. So I think the pass rush is going to help these guys so much that they're going to look better than advertised because the quarterbacks are going to be getting pressured.
Yeah, I want to agree with, you both nailed it, but I definitely want to agree with B. Shine nailing it. Keeping Ben Neiman off the field and Daniel Sorensen off the field, that was the Achilles heel, no pun intended, the last couple of seasons when they went into passing situations, when the opposing offenses spread out the defense. Here came Ben Neiman, here came Daniel Sorensen, and Leo Chennault is that replacement for Ben Neiman, and Brian Cook, he is that replacement for Daniel Sorensen. So I'm really high on those kids. The Chiefs haven't threw out 2 rookies at cornerback since 2008 when Brandon Flowers and Brandon Carr played.
Yeah.
And they came, granted, they had a head coach that was a former cornerback, so I felt that they had a little bit of extra advantage over these 2 cornerbacks, not slamming Steve Spagnuolo, but I think I want to trust McDuffie and Joshua Williams the same way I trusted Brandon Flowers and Brandon Carr, because they both were put out there, Brandon Flowers and Brandon Carr. And it's ironic because Brandon Flowers went to Virginia and Brandon Carr went to a tiny small school that I can't remember. Well, what do they go to now?
Grand Valley State.
Thank you. Thank you, Bishad. Glad you're on the show, baby.
Hey, D2 Pride, baby. Northwest Missouri State. We in the building.
There you go. And Trent McDuffie came from Washington, and Joshua Williams came from
Fayetteville State.
Fayetteville State, yeah.
See, there one came from big college, one came from little college, and two.
Yeah, but we can't forget about Rashad Fenton, who I feel had a really good year, down the stretch last year. And our guy, L'Jarius Sneed, who looks like Charles Woodson Light in a lot of games. So I'm excited with the secondary. We're gonna have our lumps and and bruises because that comes with young corners and things like that. But I think that the pass rush is really going to help these guys so much this year.
Moving to the kicking game, I mean, do we see Harrison Bucker? I mean, he's making 71, 74-yard field goals pregame, no rush. It is what it is, but he's still making them. Do we see the Chiefs try anything? I think Dave Tobe came out saying they feel comfortable with him at 58. Do we see anything longer than 58, a 60, 65, something where they're in desperation mode? It's Hail Mary versus a long Bucker field goal. Do we think that they really push this year?
Cairo Santos attempted a 66-yarder in October 2015 against the Bears, but it was about 18 yards short and about 50 yards wide. That was the last time.
You'd have to do Santos like that.
Yeah.
That was the only time Andy Reid ever had a Chiefs kicker go out there for a game-winning kick. Rather than have Alex Smith throw a 49-yard Hail Mary, he said, nah, I'm going to go for a 7-yard field goal. So
it would have been 39 yards.
Yeah. I think you have to try it. I think Buck Kicker is going to, you have to give him a chance. I think he kicked a 60-yarder when we beat the Chargers a couple years ago. So I think that you have to give him a shot, especially if he's making it from 60 plus, 65 plus. Is like, hey, if the wind is, on our side, man, let that guy go out there and kick. He's one of the better kickers in the history of the NFL. So, man, let that guy go out there and kick and earn his paycheck.
Yeah, I got all the confidence in the world in Bucker after last year's Buffalo game. Nailing that kick under the circumstances. I don't want to say he had every right to miss that kick, but if he would have missed it, I don't think people would have, been down on him. But the fact that he made that, and there's so many kicks that he's made. The Ravens game in 2018, when he had to make that kick after the Tyreek Hill catch and all of that stuff. So I think Bucker has earned the right and earned the trust of Andy Reid and an entire team, frankly, just based off his resume the past, 6 years he's been with the team.
He misses more extra points than he does field goals with his back.
Facts. Yeah, facts.
I was going to bring that up. He misses some extra points. I might trust him at 65 more than 32, but man, what if he pulls a hamstring and we got to go with Justin Reed? Do we feel comfortable there?
Yes, I am, actually. I am.
Really?
I am, seriously. You see, he nailed a 60-yarder in practice. He did. Justin Reed did. Now it's practice, yeah, but just the fact that his range is that long, I would trust, like, if Bucker got hurt or something, God forbid, I would trust him with a 40 to 45-yard field goal. Why not?
Ryan, Justin is a safety. Let him play defense. I don't want to see him unless if it's a 20-yarder and, Bucker is hurt, then I'm like, all right, he can make this 20, 30 yards. But anything above that, let's go forward and try to, get the first down.
Well, guys, this is our preseason kind of wrap-up show talking about the 53-man roster. And before we go, we just want to thank you all for watching and stay tuned all season long, every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central. Be there, be square. Man, it has been a pleasure doing this with you guys, and I can't wait for the season ahead. We're going to be talking everything Cardinals and maybe even get a little bit into the Chargers, looking ahead because that's a big, quick turnaround into our first home game against the Chargers there on a Thursday night, big division game. But before we let you go, I've got a little trivia for these guys, and don't feel bad if you don't get it because, if you do, I think I have to give you some. I got to cash app you something because I had to look this up. But Clint posed the question to me, like, what was the last preseason overtime game? And so I was like, that's a great question. So preseason trivia here. When is the last time a preseason game went into overtime? And the hint is the last time it happened, 2 games went to overtime on the same night.
Is this an NFL question or a Chiefs specific question?
This is an NFL question, but this is a Chiefs show, so dot.
7 Cardinals.
2018?
Before 2018.
Before?
I can't guess this one. Preseason goes in and out of my brain. I barely remember this year's preseason.
I'll give you another hint. Andy Reid era.
Oh,
2014. It says that was a weird year.
It was 2013.
The first year.
Against the Steelers.
Oh my gosh.
And the Chiefs did it on purpose. You're supposed to get out of preseason without going to overtime or playing anything extra. Hail Mary, go for 2, whatever it is. Do not go to overtime. There's like 1 minute and 38 seconds left in the game, and they kick a field goal to tie it and send it to overtime.
Oh my God.
We need to see Chase Daniel get some extra PT or something that year. Was that what it was?
Touchdown in overtime to Rico Richardson for the win. So they got
Cyrus
the
Gray
win.
got some PT. Is that what happened?
Cyrus Gray. Wow, that man.
And the Jets and Giants went to overtime that same night in 2013.
Hey, if you bought a ticket, I guess you enjoyed, you got to see some extra football. But for the players, I know they're like, damn it, I want to go home. What are we doing here still? So
they need to reopen the concession stand.
That rule, because after the second quarter, man, we're no longer watching the game. So thank you, NFL.
Yeah, thank you, NFL. In 2021, they did away with preseason overtime. So never again. No, Andy Reid can't do it even if he wants to, which apparently he did in 2013. He was new here. The team was coming off a 2-14 season. He thought they needed all the extra snaps they could get. So he's on purpose sending them into overtime.
Hey, Chargers, you hear that now? The same way you guys don't like overtimes, you guys don't have to worry about it.
Well, for Nitro, Noah Groniger, Brian B. Shinen, the Money Badger, Michael Matthew, and Shaggy Shane Williams, this is Arrowhead Allies presented by Star K Media. Thank you. We are out till next time.
You, Nick.